Good afternoon. This is the Nifty Alpha. I'm Pio. I'm here with my pal Nick. How's it going, Nick?
Pretty good. I'm rolling handheld microphone this time, plugged in at a hotel. But otherwise, it's going pretty well.
I love that you brought an entire podcast and video studio with you to the hotel. I think you're probably the only person in the whole world that I know that is doing this, and it created a badass morning show on Twitter Spaces for us today, our best one yet, I think. And now it's creating some pretty funny looking video because you're literally holding a microphone.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, look, you understand the importance of quality audio, so I don't think anybody can get mad at that.
But yeah, I didn't bring, just to clarify, I did not bring my video setup. That would have been full commitment. But I will also add, after yelling this morning at the top of my lungs on that show, literally like people in the halls are like knocking on my door telling me, what the fuck is going on in there? What is this nifty morning alpha that you speak of? And I'm like,
is this true?
No one knocked on the door, but my fiance does actually regularly comment on. Yesterday, she was texting me during our show saying, "Can you please shut up? I'm presenting to literally all of." I'm not going to say where she works, but she works at a very large financial institution. So when she's presenting, she's literally presenting to like 50,000 employees of this company, and I'm out here being like, kick in your door, we're coming for you, you're gonna lose, you gotta sell your dog to fund the price of your mortgage, because otherwise you're gonna be out on your ass because you made a bad NFT purchase decision.
That's exactly what you're saying. And I did not know your fiance works at a financial institution, and I used to work at one of those, and I know how uptight those people are. They must literally be like, what the fuck is going on in the background? Why is that guy screaming his head off? But I see it connected well with Diego here, who said great spaces earlier. Thank you, Diego. We were joined on spaces earlier today by Maddie, DCL blogger, a gentleman that both Nick and I have separately interviewed. And it was a very productive day. And then how appropriate, today is the 10th episode of the Nifty Alpha YouTube. So if you've watched any of our content before this, you've watched one of the first 10 episodes. Let's get
10. We're going to 10. We've like blown up so big at episode 10. I'm carrying a freaking studio with me to the hotel so 50 people can listen to me. Like how self-absorbed can one be? I'm like sitting there being like to the taxi cab driver, excuse me. Have you bought an NFT? Oh, you haven't heard of the Nifty Alpha? Because literally everyone's talking about it right now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. And so just diving into today's episode, first project that we're going to talk about is Peaceful Groupies. Oh, Diego said congratulations on episode 10. Thank you so much.
Wow. Pio, see, the problem, Pio's not used to this sort of flattery happening live on the stream, and it's really going to his head. So Diego, Flyon, Donnie, Ruben, really, can you just stop doing that, and so we can move on with the real content?
Flyon Donnie's roasting us, as he always does. He's becoming the nemesis of the show.
I didn't prepare an outro either, so okay. Well, we'll eventually get there.
We'll get there. So Peaceful Groupies. This is a project that Nick, sophisticated art speculator, our pal, minted and made a solid guap on. I think he made like 2 ETH profit on it, pure profit, minted, and was able to sell one immediately for 2 ETH because it was a rare. And then, I bought into at about 16, 17. Did you at any point own this project?
No, what I was doing was on this stream was fudding it. I don't know if you recall. I was talking about those 8-ball eyes that you have. Is like you were talking about. I love the art, and I'm like, yeah, the pickles on the head and the 5 eyes here really stands out to me as something that deserves to be in a historical museum documenting the history of art. But to be fair, I mean, the art is actually pretty dope. As much as I make fun of it. And the higher that the price goes, the more that I FOMO. I'm really waiting for this thing to hit 2 ETH before I buy in. And that's when I think it would be proper timing.
I think that there's a lot of runway with this. I bought it with a very advanced, like deep research thesis, which was Nick bought it, like Sophisticated Art Speculator bought it, and Brian Brinkman said that he thinks the artist is good. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and buy into it. And I'm not upset about the purchase. Some notable influencer buys is Deez said that he likes the Groupies. I know Dylan Orell, Hunter Orell's brother, also likes the Groupies. So I saw a little bit of that, a little bit of promotion on Twitter, and it does seem like people like the Groupies a bit. So I'm holding two. I would sell one north of 1 ETH just to de-risk my entire NFT portfolio, right? Not like this particular project. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I sell one at north of 1 ETH and I regret it afterwards. But for the time being, I'm diamond handing it, and I think our floor is pushing 1 ETH at this point. I think we're looking at a like 0.9 ETH floor right now, which is great to see.
I think we're in a real sort of questionable state with some of these different items, in the sense that basically an artist ends up creating some of these individual items, and then what happens from there is they now have this obligation to continue building stuff. And the distinction is like Bored Ape Yacht Club is basically a full-blown startup, hiring a staff and building out utility, building a game, and things like that. And while they may have had the vision of it out the gate, it's an obligation that you're taking on when you launch some of these collectibles. That said, there's definitely artist ones. I think of Spotty Wi-Fi and places like that, where you almost want the floor to stay low for a longer period of time, so that your true fans hold on. The problem is with something like that, and have lower expectations, because they can hold it for a long time thing, or long term. But with something like this, you're buying it just for the art. And unlike Cool Cats, where now they've hired developers, they're building out a roadmap, they're doing all these things, and now they're running a business. It started as this artist thing, basically. And now everybody is shifting to building out an entire startup, which is like almost like a backdoor into ICOs, which is what we were feeling before. And this, it feels very reminiscent. The only difference is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, because it sounded like
no, you're not cutting me off. No, I'm listening. I'm just like kind of like reacting to what you're saying. Please continue.
So there's one other thing, which I think is like, I will say this time you're watching people build in public, and that aspect of it is pretty exciting, because we get to be along with people for the ride. But they didn't launch as startups. They literally just launched as graphics. And that's really fascinating to me, because they're not making the promise. Some people are, don't get me wrong, with the roadmap. Some people are making bold promises, but I think it's more interesting when there is no promise, and instead something ends up materializing. And that's kind of how you're trading it right now. And all that you're trading is on the basis of of NFTs, is basically saying, I think back to the 90s internet boom, people were promising the future of whatever, but now they're not even promising anything. You're just looking at the team and saying, hey, is that team great? Do I think that they're going to be able to execute on this? And a lot of us are buying in based on that. So yeah, anyways, that's my 20 cents, not 2 cents.
Well, yeah, I mean, your 20 cents it's almost a whole damn dollar, right? Because it's like, at the end of the day,
more closer to a quarter than a dollar, but okay.
Hey man, I know my dollars, okay? It's almost like the aesthetic comes first, and people are like, I like that aesthetic. Like I identify with that aesthetic, and then as things get built, the interesting thing is with the ICO craze, it kind of was like a lot of bullshit, right? Like, objectively speaking, it's just like, this is going to do this is going to do that. And we were just like light years away from things being able to do anything that were promised. I mean, cryptocurrencies now, they still don't do shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I look at building out these NFT ecosystems, when you look at an event, for example, even just one event is more than what's promised by some random cryptocurrency, right? I'm also, full disclosure, I just don't like shit coins, and I don't like shit coin trading. If you're like a crypto person, then, fine, you can cancel me and everything. But I like NFTs because I like the art and the collectible side. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Not in a serious way. I was making videos making fun of them, but sometimes you had to ape into a couple of them. I lost literally every single shitcoin that I bought. But anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, like my thing is like if people are trading shit coins in 2021, that's very strange to me because it's like, dude, if you're gonna do that, just trade NFTs. Like at least it's more fun. You at least you get something, right? Like when I buy Creature World, I'm buying artwork by Danny Cole, right? So it's like at least you get something out of the process with this
Danny
P.
Cole, an artist that you hadn't heard of until we found out that he was in MoMA, and that was the whole pitch. But now, yes, I'm a
Right.
huge fan of Danny Cole. He's been in MoMA, as we all know, as great art collectors that we are.
I should put on a bathrobe right now and grab like, or like put on a tuxedo and have a cocktail and just be start like, have a cigar. Danny Cole, yes. That's how I see myself now, like our pal, the sophisticated art speculator. I picture myself exhaling smoke and getting a little bit of smoke in my eye. So I kind of have that look to me and maybe, wearing a bathrobe, like these types of looks. Like that's how I see myself now. But anyway, what I was saying is with NFTs, like I actually think that things are being built and that you're actually getting real value, even if it's just clout on social media from having a particular profile picture. And I'm starting to believe in the Bitcoin super cycle theory now because of NFTs. I think that NFTs are onboarding so many people to the crypto ecosystem and the weirdness of this Bitcoin bull run cycle. It's been the weirdest one ever. Any expert will tell you that. I wouldn't be surprised if this extends the whole thing and we see an ongoing macro bull for Bitcoin and ETH well into next year that's being driven by the onboarding into the space that that NFTs are providing.
I think the primary distinction that I have is that when it comes to that's my fiance walking back and forth. In case you're wondering, by the way,
She's good. She's
she,
good.
she was hesitant to do the walk back once more because she was like, "Oh my god, I forgot something." That was what that move that last one was. So she's gonna end up walking through again. But anyways, in terms of, I agree with you. The only thing that's weird this time, though, for me is that like I wonder what percentage of crypto is remaining within the ecosystem versus like people that are launching NFTs are selling for ETH, then selling that ETH and converting it into a stable coin so they can offboard into an exchange. Now, a lot of that ends up back in the exchange is where they offboard. I see a lot of these people going to Binance, Coinbase, Gemini. You can see them exit out on chain, and that's well, it's a good thing. It means they're running their project properly. It means that they're actually using it as a fundraising tool, not as an opportunity to go and speculate. You want to see that exit, but what that also means is that like we're building an entire economy, and like today, when you go and in the pre-existing economy, you don't really talk. Typically, nowadays we talk about the value of the dollar as it applies to inflation, but most of the time you accept that as a thing, and like you're not thinking about what it's trading against versus yen. Like it doesn't matter most of the time. Now, I'm not saying if you're a foreign currency person that you do care, but for the average person, they don't give two shits about that. They're just getting paid in dollars. And I think we're sort of building an entire ecosystem around that where the fluctuations of ETH and Bitcoin become less relevant as we become more familiar with it, and we're just trading within that system. And so it's not to suggest that the macro view does not matter. It definitely does. Frankly, if we experience a bear market right now, as long as it's a gradual one, then I think it's fine. If we experience a bull market that's gradual, it's great as well. Anything that's super volatile, though, messes up the NFT market.
Yeah, it does. I mean, talk about mayhem. It's like literally mayhem when things are super volatile because the NFT market itself is volatile. And then you're adding like the underlying, the unit of account being extremely volatile. It's intense. But back to NFTs, back to the title of this video, because I don't want to, bait and switch people. Closing the book on peaceful groupies. I'm glad I bought them. I'm glad I held them. I'm still holding them. And let's move on to a project that you are extremely happy that you bought and held, which is the Cryptoadz project, which has been a massive success for you. So you bought into this project at what price, considering the 6 ETH floor that we're sitting at right now?
Well, I thought I'd sneak in a bite of food there, and it turned out to be a bad decision. So I'll continue eating that sandwich at the end of this stream, but it didn't work out. I have food currently sitting in the corner of my mouth while I'm answering this question. So, as for these Cryptoadz, I'm a very proud owner of it. I had said on the Spaces this morning that Cryptoadz is quite an interesting. It's an interesting project. I sat in a world of resentment for a little bit because as someone who got their first NFT from Gremplin, the creator of this, I bought one of his free ones. They were 0, aka I paid gas on OpenSea. What I find, I'm a big fan of what he's up to. He's also working with Nouns DAO and has helped design the Nouns, which each one goes for about 100 ETH at least, sometimes 200 is what it costs to join Nouns DAO. And they have a launch every single day that you can buy a Noun. And they're building this massive balance sheet right now. Who knows what they do with it? In terms of the Toads, so Gremplin, the creator of it, he has a huge following, and that following is among, I think, a lot of punks, is a community that he went after and gave them toads, custom toads designed after some of the influential punks in the community. And then they all made those their profile photo. As VGF, who came on the stage today, mentioned, he had been given one of those and sold it for 20 ETH. So I was
actually, it was an honorary one. So it was actually like made of him. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the VGF
and given to him. So I want to be clear. So they did they did this thing. So I sat in resentment for a while as a result of that, basically, because I was like, well, what the fuck? I'm like, I had one of these things. I've chatted with Gremplin briefly, and I'm like, I want one of these things, Gremplin. So I was grumpy about Gremplin. And then I went from my grumpy feeling to watching it continue to pump, to looking in the Discord and saying, this is a great community. And then what ended up happening was I bought at 1.5 and it just sat there. It fluctuated up to 2. It went down to 1. It was just fluctuating in this band for a while. And right now it's over, as we know, over 5 ETH, looking at 6 ETH. I don't know how long this run occurs. We go through these short cycles and they're very short. New waves of people come in, it goes up, it goes down, and then eventually we get another wave. It's a very rapid churn that we're experiencing right now. But anywho, I sit looking at something that looks like this sitting in my wallet worth over 5 ETH, and I have to really strongly consider, do I sell that? Is that mine? No, mine has a hat. Mine looks very similar to that.
Yours is not listed, correct? Because this toad is listed.
Yeah, mine is not listed. So anywho, that's the situation that I'm facing with Cryptoadz at the moment. I really wish I had bought 2 at that price. I was strongly debating it. So yeah, right now I'm looking at my Cryptoadz, which was very similar to that one. It's orange. It has a hat, which is a semi-rare attribute. And yeah, the floor is now, it's always fluctuating. Right now it's at 6.15.
It's gnarly, man. Great buy. I wish I was in a position to buy. I think that we're noticing a pattern where everybody always wishes that they bought 2, because when you buy 2, you can hold 1 and sell 1. I only bought 1 creature, right, for 1.25 ETH. If I bought 2, I'd be really happy right now, because we're pushing 4 ETH and I could let that thing rip to like 8 ETH and I could just comfortably sell 1. And I really have this attachment to my creature at this point now, and this like conviction in my creature that I haven't had in another project, and where I'm like, I don't know if I can sell this thing. And I keep ending up in these damn situations where I'm like, I just can't sell the damn thing. And it's fine for the long term, but in the short term, it would really be nice to be able to get some gains. So you got to buy 2. That's why I have 2. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I agree. Buying 2 is key. I will say I have 2 Bored Apes and I haven't sold 1. So, but
that's Bored Apes. That's Bored Apes.
But when it was going up, you didn't know. It's the exact same thing. So the real question is like, even with 2 doesn't feel like enough. You really got to go for like 5. 5 is the place to be at with some of these ones where you have high conviction and you just got to go in. That's how a lot of you make the big gains in this space, and then you're able to sell them off. I had Anonymix on my show. He had bought like 50 of them, and so 50 punks, and he's been using that to lever into trades to get big pieces that he likes. So he's been moving around, leveraging those punks. Now, obviously, privileged position to have even back in January been able to bought 50, January or 5th, February. I mean, I think he had to put in like $5 million or something like that. I don't know the exact amount, but whatever it was, it yielded great results. But again, it shows you the leverage that you have at that point. What you're building is leverage, but you need to have it in those key projects. Like those 2 Bored Apes give me leverage to potentially negotiate other deals. But simultaneously, if I had 5, I really would have leverage at that point. And I'd have a ton of money.
Right.
Let's be clear.
You definitely have a ton of money. So yeah, Cryptoadz, home run, absolute home run. Let's cover 5 minutes on Deluxe Bears. And then for the last 5 minutes, why don't we decide if we were going to throw, because we'll talk about price points, and you like to buy between 1 and 1.5 ETH. I want to, okay, it's Bears, Deluxe Bears. That's not
hold on. Why do you say I like to buy between 1 and 1.5 ETH? That's not my standard go-to. I had 2 purchases like that. I bought Creature World at that range. I bought Gremplins at that range. Cryptoadz at that range. And
Deadfellaz.
And Deadfellaz. Okay. So maybe the fact that I bought Deadfellaz at that range is actually a good indicator. If I'm buying in at that point, I could see Deadfellaz being one of the 3-5 ETH sort of plays. I think that that one's more of a lower odds of doing it. I thought that Cryptoadz would be, and it is now. I think that Creature World will be, and it's headed that way right now. And I honestly, that was another one where I tweeted out, I said, can some financial advisor please let me know why I should not sell a ton of, or why I should not buy and put my whole wallet into Creature World. And frankly, that would have been a smart decision.
Absolutely. I felt the same way. It's just hard to actually do it. XP said Nick's new setup makes me uneasy. XP is always funny. We always appreciate your comments roasting us. So the project that I have on screen,
just to let him know, and if this is making you nauseous, it's making me nauseous also. I'm just letting you know. But it's uneasy because I'm in a hotel room. I'm literally sitting at a table in the middle of this. But let's keep going. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that Bears Deluxe, this is a project. This is a Whoppy pick. I believe we're calling them Whoppy Whammies. Whoppy, a frequent contributor on the morning Nifty Alpha show that you, I, and the Sophisticated Art Speculator co-host.
What's his name again?
His name is also Nick. and Bears Deluxe was a project that Whoppy really, really liked, and clearly it's worked out for him because I believe he was buying in at sub 0.1, maybe sub 0.05, and it has skyrocketed to a half an ETH. So I don't know much about the project. It's Pixelated Bears. There seems to be a little bit of a run on pixelated projects, maybe inspired by Cryptoadz. What are your thoughts on Deluxe Bears, or Bears Deluxe, I should say?
Well, I chose not to get in, and then because of that, Whoppy had a couple of good calls, and so I decided to follow suit. What I got in instead was Bastard Penguins, and frankly, Bastard Penguins jumped to, I think, 0.12 at a high. It's now at 0.07, so I don't have much of a gain here, but 569 ETH in volume. What's the volume on these bears?
1.7K.
The Bears. So yeah, these other ones have almost 1/3 the volume of this, which is pretty solid. So
solid ownership.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. Ultimately, a community needs to form around these things, and so like these are long shots. I like pouring money into these and typically losing with all my long shots. But the thing that's been nice is I've been able to even get out at anywhere near a break even has been something that has made me happy. I was able to sell a couple items the other day that falls in this category. But Bears Deluxe, man, I don't know enough about it. Did you investigate the community?
No, I really haven't done much research into Bears Deluxe, but I mean, that price appreciation is no joke. I just want to kind of look here. I'm assuming today's the top. Yeah. Like, look at this run up. Whoppy definitely made a good call. We can't see it, of course. Here we go. Let me make it full screen. Like, Whoppy literally bought, like, was it 2 days ago? Was it the 28th that he made the call, or was it yesterday?
It was a couple days ago when we were hovering at 0.15 or 0.2 floor is where that was. So it was a great call because of the Bears Deluxe call. It was a target of 1 ETH. No, it's 0.15. So he came on the show, discussed this at 0.15. We're now at 0.8. I mean, had I jumped into that one, I'd probably be selling a few right now just to take some gains off the table. But yeah, each one of these each morning, I mean, I end up buying like 5 of whatever it is outside of that garbage one, the jelly, the deep sea jelly. I did not realize what these looked like. Like it didn't even, I didn't even consider the phallic
You said that they're
falling.
Yeah, I love it.
But
They got nice penis heads. The problem with this one is the nerfed.
Yes, Pia, thanks for clarifying it. That's what phallic means.
The problem here, we'll just touch on this one real quickly. An Easy Eats Bodega, a frequent guest and really a member of the family at this point on the Nifty Alpha morning at Spaces on Twitter. He likes the deep sea jellies. He's going to hate that I'm being objective right now, which is that this is just a complete bullshit ownership on the jellies. There's no way that there's 7,200 unique owners on a 10K project like this one in such a short period of time. And this is 100% attributed to the fact that they did first one free on a per wallet basis, which I don't think is the end of the world. But if you end up with this barbecued ownership, it's going to take a lot for the project to overcome that because the trust is kind of broken. I just have no idea how many unique owners there are of the project. And I just don't like that. I don't like not knowing that. So unless this project like ripped or had an insane community and really showed me something else that I can go off of, it's just not going to make sense.
What does barbecued ownership mean? like they put some A1 sauce on there? Like what exactly does that even mean?
Like, I mean that they just like they roasted it, man. Like we just don't know what the ownership is.
Here's another problem with it. Have you ever managed 10 wallets at the same time or 20 wallets at the same time? It's not easy. So that's the other problem with it. And you end up needing like, what are you going to go manage OpenSea from 10 separate wallets and like go and list each of these at 0.06 or 0.06?
Put a little bit of ETH in each wallet so you have the gas. Like,
and what's even the gains at that point? What's the volume on this though? That's the real question.
Volume is 135 ETH, so not much.
I mean,
it's something.
It's greater than nothing. That means that I guess I don't know what the transaction fees on this is, but I mean, this is a nice penis-shaped project, and we'll leave it at that. We don't need to spend too much time on it. I only bought one for because it was fun. And I spent 0.03, I think is what I spent. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy any. Okay, so last couple minutes here, someone said something about Deadfellaz versus Robotos, and it's actually interesting that these two projects are kind of being compared against each other. It looks like you are on the fast track with Deadfellaz back to the entry point that you got in at, which is fantastic.
Follow suit on all my greater than 1 ETH buys, baby. That's how we go.
Well,
this is craps table where Nick always wins.
Well, I want to talk about this craps table. I want to talk about buys between 1 and 1.5 ETH because I think that that's a very interesting position to get into. You're not going to get the 100x, right? But you can get a 5 ETH gain, right? You can go from 1 to 6. You can go from 1 to 4, get a 3 ETH gain. And that's what we're doing with Creature World. I think the anticipation is that that's going to happen with Deadfellaz. people have the same anticipation for Robotos. First question, Nick, would you, I mean, I think your actions, show what your answer is to this question, but between Robotos and Deadfellaz, which one would you buy? And after you answer that, I want you to talk to me about what projects you would buy right now between 1 and 1.5 ETH.
If I had enough, I'd buy both. And I do have enough, but I've only bought Deadfellaz. I regret both of these. I have deep regrets about, because I've been watching for a very long time Deadfellaz and Robotos, and they both have a similar vibe coming out of the web design community. And I think from that standpoint, I'm very bullish on that community entering the space. I think there's an early mover advantage from that stand front. From that stand
front.
Front. Is
front
that
stand.
right? Okay.
No, standpoint is what you meant to say.
Yeah, exactly. So, front of the line maybe in a battle. But anyways, bottom line is, I think that they have a first mover advantage to that community. And there's going to be, everyone's coming over from Dribble, Dribble. If you want to check it out, that's where all the designers are. And they're posting things that look just like this on that site and not getting paid. They're doing it just for likes. And so imagine when you incentivize the amount of money that you can make on an NFT for those individuals, we're going to see a flood of them. But both of these people have great standings in the community. The Robotos, Pablo, sorry, it was someone else. Pablo has a great following, great respect inside the design community. The distinction is like he's building his reputation within the NFT community, and Deadfellaz as well has that nice overlap. And I like this particular demographic. I want to expand on this one step further, because when you think of who the waves are of people that are entering the NFT space, there's going to be a major gap between here and the later adopters, simply because the friction is more significant. I don't think my mom, sister, cousin, aunt, whatever, none of those people are entering the NFT space imminently until there's until it's easy for them. They just don't want to go set up a cryptocurrency exchange account, transfer that money into MetaMask or whatever system you end up getting, if it's on Solana or whatever it is. They don't want to go through all those steps. And so the people that I'm looking at is the San Francisco tech startup scene. Sorry, Boston, LA, Miami, Chicago, whatever, DC. Respect to all those as well. Toronto, Vancouver, London, etc. So Paris, these are all cities. But
Milan, Budapest,
Milan, they're not big in the tech startup ecosystem. Tokyo and Beijing, I would go on. So anyways, the main point being, those are the adopters that I'm looking for getting into this space, and they're getting here right now, which means what's that next wave? Because you need that next wave for this to continue pumping. That's, as far as I'm concerned, there's going to be a big hump between those two things until you can buy your NFT directly on Twitter, directly on TikTok, directly on Instagram. And it's coming to all these. Until that happens, I think it's going to be a few months. Their whole legal team is going to have to deal with this. They're teasing out prototypes of things right now, which the NFT ecosystem is eating up. But until they've actually gone through those hurdles, I think there's a big gap for the rest of adoption. And so this is largely, for now, going to be driven based on creators, creatives, and those individuals who are willing to operate at the bleeding edge during what's essentially a creative renaissance.
I couldn't have said it better.
Sorry,
myself.
That was really long-winded, but I feel very passionately about that.
I thought it was packaged perfectly. I think that the audience needed it. I think that if they didn't get it, they would have probably just turned the fucking show off and just said, what am I even watching? Why does this guy have a party shirt on? Where's the party? It's 2:00 in the afternoon. Why is the other guy in a hotel room? What's going on with him? Fly on Donnie, who roasts us for everything, said good analysis, worthwhile. So you won him over. I think that we need to.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted to acknowledge Diego's, but then I just realized we discussed it. And there's one other which people are talking about, which is Stoned Apes Saturn Club. That was on another YouTube channel that I was on. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Another alpha, something alpha, crypto alpha or something like that. Anyways, he was a big fan of the stoned apes. I looked at this and thought this is ridiculous, was my first glance. But then someone in another, when we were discussing it on stage on Twitter the other day, someone brought this up and said that the community is like really active. They love what's going on, and there's future drive here. 252 ETH in volume, 1.7 thousand holders, a floor of 0.07. I find it difficult though, man. That move of a floor from 0.07 up to 0.25, 0.5. They'll even go up to 0.8 and drop down. We're experiencing that right now with the Habos, Habo avatars. It's tough to sustain, and 1.7 thousand holders is not sufficient for me. That said, it's probably going to moon. I mean, there's a lot of people who keep talking about it and want it to moon. If you go long enough talking about it, take a playbook from Lazy Lions, who is not derivative. That's the only thing I don't like about this is solo derivative, which is derivative of Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think it has a chance. Lazy Lions is one that, like, will it be the next Lazy Lions? I don't know. Yeah, staying alpha. There you go. Thanks, Aaron.
I don't know if it'll be the next Lazy Lions, but I've seen a lot of notable people actually sport it as their picture. It seems to have a little bit of traction. It looks like, yeah, the only gap
like
is
Simpsons.
The ownership.
Makes me think Simpsons meets Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah. It is The Simpsons. That's it. That's what it is, right? I mean, look, there's even the Marge hairstyle right here, kind of, adjusted, but that's a Simpsons thing with bigger ears. It's the same Simpsons eyes and mouth. So, but look, if people like it, they like it.
I mean, then maybe it's a double derivative like Wicked Ape Bone Club, and should buy in at it. I like the Staying Alpha channel that I went on. He was a big fan. He's an owner of it. I don't know. I have no idea what the situation is there, but I didn't do a deep enough dive on it. I like my Bored Apes, and it feels weird to be buying the derivatives of other projects. I don't say that as an elitist. I'm just saying, like, I want exposure to other areas of the NFT ecosystem. So it's not like you must make the perfect NFT that's like, and you cannot, derive anything from Bored Apes. I'm all about it, but it's just not the one that I'm betting on right now. Maybe I should do more research.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely do more research. I'm going to look into that unique ownership. I think that's the one factors I'd like to see it get into more hands. I like the fact that it's not nerfed, it's not juiced. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll pay close attention to the stoned apes.
Always say not nerfed. That's a saying. Don't nerf it, okay? Don't nerf it. What is to nerf something synonymous with to pump something up to like what is that? Where did that come from?
People say nerfed in context. I don't know exactly. I feel like I don't know. It's a word. It's something that gets used, and I think I might be using it wrong.
You're like, I'm glad to see that hasn't been nerfed or barbecued. And if it's barbecued, we want that medium rare. That's what we're aiming for, because anything dark, everything cooked more than that is overcooked. That's what we call that. So yeah, that's the general take. Anyways,
I think it's a good take. Should we kick off the outro?
Yeah, we can try and figure that out. Let's see. This is the. Oh, do we want to use that music again? From a previous show that I had. This is this has been the Nifty Alpha, formerly the Stonk Show intro. Episode 1, 2, and 3 of the Stonk Show. Thanks for joining for this show. It's been phenomenal. It's felt very warm and cozy, although this room is a little bit cold. But the people in the comments have kept it real. That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
Thanks for keeping it real.
Is there a call to action here? Click that subscribe button. Click that like. Smash that like button till your screen cracks. And come check out the nifty.com and check out our morning Nifty Alpha spaces, which are just blowing up and hot fire. We'd love to have you there. And you get to come on stage and provide some commentary if you want as well. So, yeah.
That's it. That was the cleanest outro that we've ever had. I feel like out of all the outros, that's the best outro.
Wow, we really crushed it. We really crushed it. We haven't ended the show, but let's just pat ourselves on the back for killing it. Hey, thanks for still watching this video. If you're not gone yet, I mean, what are you doing?
There's at least 21 people watching this shit right now.
There's no more alpha left here. This is literally talk about where's your dog?
What are they doing here?
That's the real question.
I don't know. She's downstairs somewhere, probably destroying things.
She was very excited yesterday. Anyways, we'll do it again. Actually could do it tomorrow. Are we doing this again tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we should try to figure out a time that we can do it. I have a wedding tomorrow, so just like you, and I'm gonna get picked up at like 4:30. I'm gonna be the best man. No big deal. Not a big deal.
Wow. So it's a local one, I'm guessing then.
It's a local one. It's in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Shout out to Cambridge. If you guys want to come crash.
What's the address? Let everyone know. Can you just say that on stream, please, Pio?
XP said, "Is this the outro?" Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is. Sorry, let me play the music again. Thanks for listening to the Nifty Alpha. This was really a great show and great episode. Smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button.
The notification button. Diego's got our back. The notification button.
Join. And if you're on Twitter and still watching, that's just shocking because someone's attention on Twitter doesn't last more than like 3 seconds. So there's ADHD as it gets, as ADHD as me. But this was fun that we got to do a double outro there.
This is pushing a triple one. So XP said, "I can't even tell anymore if it's the outro." Diego said, "I don't think they've begun yet."
Pio, can you just pull up the next project, please? Can we discuss the next one?
We're losing viewers now. Now they're like, okay, like at this point, I need to go back to my day.
All right. It's been real. That was fun.
Fly on Donnie said eventually they'll do an episode that's all outros.
All right, y'all. Hey, thanks to everyone in the comments. We always have fun doing this with y'all. Like you actually make this possible. So I am really grateful. That was fun. Diego, XP. You call him XP, but I don't know how to even say it. Fly on Donnie. Spooky
I was calling him
concepts.
Zyphy or whatever, and he was like, "It's XP. It's XP.
XP spelled wrong." So, but nice username there. And Aaron, Glenn, and everyone else, thank you so much. We should end this. This is getting bad.
I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm getting uncomfortable.
We're bringing it back. All right, I'm gonna leave now.
All right, okay.